The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Good evening and welcome to SUTV's Sports Talk. I'm Amanda Newman.
Will Ovington.
Amir Carter.
And Travis Nardella. First of all, we'd like to congratulate Salisbury's football team on their first win of the season. They're now 1-2, so congratulations to the Seagulls. And now we're going to get into some NFL news. We're going to talk about Aldon Smith. He got arrested again on a DUI charge and on marijuana.
I thought it was crazy how even though he was arrested Friday morning, he still got to play against the Colts the other day.
Yeah, that was pretty bizarre how he still practiced Friday afternoon and he played Sunday, but now he's done.
Wouldn't you think the NFL would get more strict with all the players who have been getting in trouble in the off season and during the season over the year? Like, this isn't anything new, and DUI charges and marijuana possession is popular now, and you would think that they crack down and try to make a statement with that, but clearly they're just acting like it's nothing. I have a big problem with that.
But I also feel like it's because of his popularity, because say it was another player, someone who was like a rookie or maybe a second year player or a second string player, that they don't really know him very well, but since it's Aldon Smith, they feel like he should be able to start and play.
So you're saying that if you're a superstar, you can get away with it, and
basically,
if you're not one of the best players, then you get it's ridiculous. I don't like that at all. I think the NFL, Roger Goodell, nobody likes him at all anyway, so this is not helping his case at all. He's showing that he really doesn't have control, or his morals are messed up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Jed York, the 49ers owner, he came out and said that Aldon Smith's going to be out indefinitely for the rest of the season. I think just because it happened on Friday morning, they wanted to get all the facts, make sure everything was situated before they made any disciplinary actions. And I think now that they've got all the facts, he was arrested for the DUI, marijuana possession. They know that now. I think now that he's out indefinitely and they're sending him to rehab, I think they've cracked down as much as they will, and I think they're just waiting for the NFL to get involved now.
But sorry.
And well, also, this is his third time being arrested in his 2.5 years in the NFL. So that's personal problems too.
Right.
I saw how Harbaugh and York said that they're going to stand behind him no matter what he does. Also, how they didn't say yet whether he was going to get paid or not, but I saw he makes $99,000 a week. Like, could you imagine making that much money in 1 week? That's crazy.
Now, did you guys hear about the Trent Richardson trade? Now, that was a shocker to me. I didn't believe that would happen at all. Trent Richardson, it was his first year last season. He did pretty well, and then you just trade him off like that. What do you think about that, just giving away your first-round draft?
I mean, what do you think is more surprising, the trade itself or how Trent Richardson found out about the trade from his friend and then having to find out as a fact on the radio?
Yeah, as if I was Trent Richardson, I feel disrespected or humiliated that a friend had to call me and tell me I got traded. If I'm one of your players on a contract and I'm the number one selling jersey on the team, you should call me personally and tell me or talk to me or why I'm leaving. I know he complained about getting the ball and stuff, but it's a business. Treat it like that.
But keep in mind that it's the Browns that he was the number one jersey for. So, I mean, on some level, you are kind of glad. I would be personally glad that I'm getting to leave the city of Cleveland. But I guess there is some level of disrespect there.
Well, also with the Browns, I mean, they're always trading away and trying to get a first-round pick, as opposed to the Colts, who always get a new player from a trade and build their team up. I mean, you see what they've done with Andrew Luck. They still have Reggie Wayne, and now they've added Trent Richardson. They also got a Matt Bradshaw. So they're making moves for players who are good now and will be good in the future, as opposed to the Browns, who have this false hope type of thing. Let's just hope we get a good player in the draft.
Well, I just thought it was weird how they traded Trent Richardson because he was the face of the franchise. I was in Cleveland over the summer, and he was on the team's pocket schedules. He was all over the stadium. He was on billboards. He was on posters. He was everywhere, and now he's gone.
Do you think there's like a clear winner and loser from this trade, or do you think, because I personally think there could be arguments for both, or even that there is really no winner, because on one hand you have the Colts who I mean, they now have arguably one of the most talented backfields in all of the NFL with Andrew Luck and now Trent Richardson. And I think it can almost kind of be like a dynasty in the making. I think this has the makings of being the next greatest show on turf. The first being Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk, and now you have Andrew Luck and Trent Richardson. But on the other hand, you've got the Browns, who now they have an extra first-round pick they can work with, and maybe they thought Trent Richardson isn't as good as they thought he was coming out of college. He was only averaging 3.5 yards a carry.
Now,
So do you think there is a clear winner or loser, or what do you think?
I'd say the Colts got the better end of it because, I mean, they're going to have a winning season. They're probably going to win the division, which means their draft pick going to the Browns is going to be in the 20s. So it's not like the Browns are getting 2 top 10 picks.
Exactly. I think the Colts are the clear winner. Obviously, they're going to the playoffs. And with that extra running back, this is a league where you need 2 running backs now, and they just got Trent Richardson right there. I think he's going to be ready to show that the Browns have made a mistake, and he's going to be coming out fighting.
But I think the Colts, they already have a lot of offensive weapons. They've got T.Y. Hilton, they have Reggie Wayne, Andrew Luck, and their other running backs. And I think they could have used that first-round pick, even if it is going to be like in the late 20s, or somehow they managed to win a Super Bowl, have the 31st overall pick. I think they still could have used that to build up their offensive line or work on their defense. I don't think they have so many offensive weapons. I don't think they need to focus on getting another stellar running back.
Now, Von Miller. What do you guys think about Von Miller? I don't even really want to talk about this because it makes me so upset. I mean, his rookie seems like he was ridiculous, and I've been watching him in the combine saying he's going to be good. And then with the whole Broncos and the hype of Peyton back, and then the whole drug. I mean, what do you guys think about the use of illegal drugs in the NFL?
Shouldn't be done.
It's getting to the point where it's almost as bad as performance-enhancing drug use in baseball. It's too much.
It's sad. I mean, that's a player that kids were ready to look up to already, and with the Broncos rising up because, they've been down for a couple of years. And then for him and then he tried to cheat the drug test after that. So, and he's already serving a 6-game suspension. Do you think they're going to, after learning that information, add more to this, like saying you're done for the rest of the season, or just add 2 games, or what do you think?
Originally the suspension was 4 games, and they found out about him cheating the drug test, and they increased it to 6. Originally they thought maybe they could increase it to the full season, but then they found out that he wasn't the only one involved in it. They realized that there was someone he was collaborating with to fake the urine samples. So I think this is going to be the last straw, though, for Von Miller. If he gets caught with anything one more time, I think Roger Goodell has said he's going to be out of the league indefinitely the next time he's convicted of anything.
Now, do you think that there's other players that are superstars that we know and love? Because if I had to pick one player, Zay was on something, I'd pick Adrian Peterson. And he clearly has to, and he even talked about it. He said, well, whoever those guys, they need to get him out. So maybe he's just that naturally great. But do you think the testing is going to be like a more serious thing? They're going to crack down on it more, or just the NFL is going to do what they do?
I think the NFL is just going to continue to do what they do. They're not really going to crack down on it. Unless they have suspicion for it, then they'll look. But other than that, I don't think so.
They keep saying that they're going to get more strict, but they've been saying that, and I don't really think they're going to enforce it.
Exactly. And clearly the Broncos aren't missing Von Miller too much anyway with their 3-0 start.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Not missed very much.
So what do you guys think of the Ravens-Texans game?
It was awesome.
I thought it was surprising that the Ravens won by so much.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one.
I was looking forward to seeing how Ed Reed was going to match up against his old team. I was hoping he was going to pick off his good buddy Joe Flacco, maybe take it for 6 the other way. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. This was the second straight game Ravens haven't allowed a touchdown.
Yep, second
Yeah,
straight
in the
game.
second half, the Texans did not score at all. And with that offense, with Andre Johnson and Arian Fonson in the backfield, and Matt Schaub, who has proved that he's a good quarterback, he can play with the top dogs. It just seems like Texans are giving everybody hope, and then it's moments like this that they lose 30-9.
I thought Tana Doss gave himself a nice birthday present with his 82-yard return. That was pretty nice.
Now let's segue into the Bengals-Packers game, because that was a real good game. And having the Bengals and the Ravens in the same division, it looks like those two are. Because I love the Steelers with all my heart, but it doesn't look like we're going to do anything, and we're battling the Browns. So do you think like the Ravens and the Bengals, like who do you think would pull it out?
That's a close one, honestly.
I like the Bengals.
Yes,
though.
I like the Bengals too.
I mean, they've got Andy Dalton, AJ Green. That's just a killer combo right there. They've got a stellar defense, and I think the Bengals are ready to compete. I think they can lock up the division. I think they can even compete, at least maybe get to the AFC Championship.
They might even be able to compete with New England to get a first-round bye. You think?
I mean, in the AFC, I like the Broncos. So I'm thinking in a Broncos, Bengals AFC Championship, but then ultimately Peyton's going to get the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, if we go back to the Texans, and I remember I mentioned Arian Foster. Recently, Arian Foster said that he received benefits when he was at Tennessee. This is an ongoing thing. This is nothing new we have seen in college football. But I find it interesting. Arian Foster said that it was either pay the rent or eat that night. So why do these college athletes have these options? Like, should they be helped out? Should they be getting paid for their performance, or we just let them survive on their own?
I'm dead set in the middle for this one. I feel like they should get paid, but maybe not like with actual money, maybe just like with rewards or those kinds of things. But at the same time, if they're getting it, but not everyone's getting it, is it really fair?
I think they should be able to receive some like compensation, but nothing from the school that they go to. Like, for example, when Reggie Bush got his benefits from USC, that shouldn't be legal because he was given the rewards pretty much by the school. But like this Johnny Manziel thing, like I don't like Johnny Manziel at all, but he wasn't paid by Texas A&M. They had nothing to do with it. He was just getting paid to sign autographs. I don't really see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, it's his name. Why shouldn't he be able to make money off? Because then if you go to stores and Foot Locker or the Models or Dick's Sporting Goods, I mean, they have the number on the jersey.
Yeah.
The name is just gone. So after the Johnny Manziel thing, NCAA said they weren't going to sell any more merchandise off the website. So I hate how they try to cover their tracks after they get exposed. Like, that's just ridiculous. But with the whole cosplayers being paid, the only sports we hear about it is what, basketball and football.
Yeah.
Clearly, those are not the only collegiate sports. I mean, there's rugby teams and golf teams, and you never hear
Soccer.
them. So if you pay the football players, you got to play golf, you got to play volleyball and field hockey. So I think that's the only problem they're getting past, because you can't just pay football and basketball.
But I think, athletes, they're already getting the scholarships. So I think you have to choose either the salary or the scholarships. You can't have both. And people always say, like, being a college athlete is like having a full-time job, and then you also have to manage school at the same time as the practice and the games. So I think you have to pick either the scholarships or paying the players cash. But I think athletes should be able to profit off of their equipment if they want to sell their jerseys or helmets, their signatures, or even if they just want to make a little extra money and sell their tickets that they get for whatever games they have that week. But I think you have to pick one or the other. You can't give away the $1,000 scholarships and then the $1,000 salaries to your best players.
Yeah, I feel like they should be able to have their jerseys sold, and they should be able to have their names in the NCAA video game. Because when I buy the game, it says quarterback number 12 for Michigan, and it says that he's 6'4", whatever, 220, whatever.
Right, it's got everything. Just
it has everything. It just doesn't say Devin Gardner, and I think that's just dumb. Just put the players' names in.
But I mean, basketball, that game went bankrupt. They didn't make the game anymore.
Yeah.
And football is really the only college game I believe people really play a lot. So again, it's going back to the football players getting the most money. And I know the colleges, they're getting so much money from those names, and I completely agree with you, but I don't know about the video game. The video game is where it gets to the point, because even the NFL players, some of them don't really like having their names in video games. So I guess college, we want to keep it an amateur sport, even though we know college football is like the minor leagues for the NFL. And they're not even using their education. I mean, who stays 4 years anymore? That's like football, you're forced to stay 3. Basketball, you stay 1. Baseball, you can get drafted right into high school. So it's like colleges it's going down. It's just like if you want to practice a little more and then go to the league. So.
Well, speaking of college players making money, how about colleges themselves making money? Like the FCS teams getting paid millions of dollars to go up against these FBS schools and, I mean, get thrashed 76-0 like they did this past weekend against Ohio State.
Without their
and
stars,
Louisville.
too. Without
Right,
their stars.
yeah,
Because
without the
Braxton
stars.
Miller, they won 76-0. Braxton Miller did not play at all. And I was watching the tape, and that just proved either Urban Meyer is just that great of a coach, and he's proved that in the past, and just he's getting them even getting better, or Ohio State's ready to play Alabama. One of the two. It's got to be one of the two. Either he's gotten better, or they're just that team is actually that good. But that's just embarrassing. Why would you want your team to be known for getting beat? That's how you know it's all about money, and it's not
Right.
about sports. It's not about the players. It's about what's coming in their pocket.
But
Well-
they didn't even lose by a little bit. You know what I mean? It'd be different if they lost like 21-0 or something like that. But they lost 76-0, and they're still getting paid millions of dollars. Do you just pretend like you didn't lose and just celebrate with your money? Like, what did they do?
Well, for the smaller schools like Florida A&M, they need the money because they got paid almost $1 million by Ohio State, which is 10% of their athletic budget. And then another game this weekend was Savannah State against Miami. They got like $375,000, which is 7% of the entire school's budget. So they do need the money to take the punishment. And some of the FCS teams do win, like not against Ohio State, obviously, but there have been a lot of upsets, especially this year, with the FCS teams beating the FBS. But this is actually stopping this next year because FBS is going to the playoff system, so they're not going to schedule the cupcake opponents anymore. They're going to
Thank you.
they're going to play the real teams.
I'm tired. I want to see the big games. That's what we want on Saturday. You know, we want to see Alabama versus Ohio State or Oregon versus Louisville or things like that. You want to see those. You want to see the top players playing the top players. I don't care who's playing some small school in Saskatchewan. I want to see who's playing the big names. That's what we look for because, you know, they're bringing in the playoff system, but we haven't had it in the past. So I just, you know, it's many matchups we can name from the past years that we've always wanted to see but never could.
Really, I mean, this had to have been one of the most boring college football weekends I've ever seen. I mean, just to show you how bad it was, ESPN's College Game Day went to North Dakota State for their game. I mean, they're the #1 team in the FCS, but I mean, there was no real competition like in the FBS teams. I mean, one of the more entertaining games I saw was Maryland beating West Virginia, but I mean that's an interstate rivalry. But I mean, other than that, there was no top 25 teams
Yeah,
playing
the
each
only
other.
top 25 versus top 25 was Stanford, Arizona State. And another, like with the slow weekend, one of the primetime games, which it ended up being a good game against what I wanted, but was Michigan, Connecticut. So that's supposed to be a blowout, but it was one of the prime times.
Now, Will, if you're a coach and you just had a 76-0 win and Braxton Miller hasn't played and he's off and you get your biggest win in how many years, do you just bring Braxton Miller back in or do you let him rest that knee?
If it wasn't against a FCS team, I'd think about maybe a quarterback controversy, at least have them play against each other at least for a few days of practice. But considering it was against an FCS team, I'm going to go back to Braxton Miller. And if he doesn't perform like I think he should, then I'll go back to my other guy.
Yeah, because the backup for Ohio State played 2 games against for California and Florida A&M. But I read that Miller's going to be back this weekend when they're playing Wisconsin. So that's a big game. So they need Miller back in the game.
And then Louisville, they're looking nice. I love Teddy Bridgewater. I remember watching him in the bowl game last year. And everybody, as soon as he throws one pass and runs, he's RG3. He's the next RG3. I hate giving them names already, but I'm liking him better than Johnny Manziel, to be honest. I mean, and clearly his character is better from what we've seen. So, do you think he makes a run for the Heisman this year, or is it just the 72-0 is just a?
But they also beat UK too, so.
Yeah,
But,
Kentucky's
I mean,
not that.
Ted-
Louisville has probably the easiest schedule in the country. They're in the easiest conference. They don't play anybody non-conference. If they don't go 12-0, then that's a disappointing season.
I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, he didn't perform as like on that Heisman level against Kentucky, but I think the 72-0 win might put him back in the conversation, but I don't think he plays the competition that he needs to play in order to get that Heisman.
So you're saying he's proved himself that he's efficient and consistent, but we need one big game
I
that
think
shows
he's
he's
going to be a
real
very talented quarterback, and he's going to be in this sport in the NFL for a long time. But I don't think he has what it takes to be that Heisman quarterback.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because Johnny Manziel might be the Heisman quarterback, but if you had to pick who'd do better in the NFL, I'm picking Teddy Bridgewater, because Johnny Manziel, he has like a street ball mentality when he's playing. I mean, he just runs around and has done unorthodox passes that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning don't have to do. Clearly, he showed he does. I don't think he has it up here yet. Mentally, he's not the player they want him to be. He'll sell out the game, bring in people, and sell jerseys and autograph stuff illegally. But Teddy Bridgewater, he's the guy I think who in the NFL will transition way better.
I mean, I agree with you that he'll translate into the NFL better, but I think there's such a big difference between college and pro football. I mean, you look at the history. Tim Tebow's the only quarterback to win in the recent years to win a playoff game as a past Heisman Trophy winner. He's the only one to win a playoff game, and I mean, Tim Tebow, we saw how his NFL career ended up. I mean, he's currently unemployed, looking in Canada, Russia, wherever he can get money. But I mean, he's still set on being an NFL quarterback, but I don't think he can. So I think there's such a huge difference between being a Heisman college athlete and being an NFL quarterback. So I think Teddy's going to make it in the NFL, but I don't think he gets that Heisman.
Clearly, because if you look at the past Heisman one, I mean, Troy Smith, where is he? Matt Leinart, dudes like that is. I mean, Cam Newton's doing pretty well. But clearly, we've seen in the past that the Heisman in college really doesn't mean. Vince Young, another one. See, it's just their rookie year they do good, and they get everybody's hopes up. But then after that, they don't really change over.
RG3.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think about the MLB division clincher so far? Pittsburgh and the Dodgers.
I'm actually very happy for the Pirates. It's their first playoff appearance since 1992. And also for the Cincinnati Reds, it's their first back-to-back appearance since the 70s. So it's good for both of those teams, for both those fan bases. And I'm rooting for Pittsburgh in the playoffs since the Yankees aren't going to be there.
I mean, some of the most exciting stuff is watching teams clinch the division because it's such an intense game. They know what's on the line.
Yeah.
They know they can make it, and when they do, always love watching the celebration after. Like the Dodgers swimming in the pool in Arizona's pool. I mean, Oakland, there was a little extracurriculars going on in the locker room with some minors drinking. One of the players' wives was carrying around her baby, letting him get a sip of beer. But I love watching teams clinch the division because it's some of the more entertaining stuff in sports, because you don't really see that in the NFL. You don't get to see them like when they clinch the division. It's like, all right, but next week we gotta go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down to one game.
I mean, but with the Dodgers though, I mean, they turned it around. They did real good, but I didn't like the celebration at the end. I thought that was a little too much. I mean, you go in the locker room and you pop the champagne and wear the goggles, protect your eyes and have fun. But to go back out after you change and then jump in the booth, I think that was real disrespectful. I mean, in football, you can't do that. You go to the locker room, you put your suit on, you talk to the press, and you leave. It's more professional.
Right.
Baseball, it just seemed like they let them run wild and just, I don't know. I mean, and the owner said, you can celebrate, but don't do anything ridiculous. And what do? The exact opposite.
I mean, I agree with the amount of disrespect. It's just so entertaining to watch, because it's just a bunch of guys trying to have fun. I mean, they're standing around for 4 hours, for 9 innings, chasing a ball.
They're playing all summer, every single day. Then they finally they finally,
finally
get the playoff spot, they're gonna. But I do like see what you mean with the Dodgers. I feel like if it was their home stadium or if it was the Diamondbacks who did that, it would be more acceptable. But just they like because the pool is in the stands. It's not like on the field. It's past the outfield wall. So they like just jumped up and had a pool party.
So, Travis, would you have done it if you were on the Dodgers?
Probably if I was on the team because everybody else was doing it.
See?
Don't cave to peer pressure.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely would have jumped in that pool.
Yeah, I feel like I would have too. I think it just looks so cool. It looks fun. But I think we should close with the Mariano Rivera retiring and also him receiving gifts. What do you guys think about that?
He has some real interesting gifts. I saw
It
the
was,
chair with the broken bats.
Yeah, that was my favorite from Minnesota. Mariano Rivera's my favorite player ever because diehard Yankee fan. Let's see, he got my favorites were a chair made out of broken bats from Minnesota because he was famous for breaking bats. From the White Sox, he got a scorecard from his first ever start and a plaque from when he got the save after the first game after 9/11. That was pretty cool. The Orioles gave him a bronzed broken bat, which was neat. And the Red Sox was kind of like a bittersweet thing, but it was really cool. They gave him the 42 from the Green Monster, like autographed by the entire team. And of course, the Yankees retired his number in Monument Park already.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful to see in baseball how even though you might not like him because he beat you or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you see what Mariano Rivera's done, I mean, he has 19 years in the MLB and with 5 World Series and
World Series MVP.
Exactly. So
Most saves
this is
ever.
This is not a normal player, and he's the only player with number 42. So you know he's special.
And well, they did the
Jack
same
Johnson.
thing last season with Chipper Jones when he was retiring and when he went to all the different stadiums for the final time. They gave him something.
I think it's nice how the MLB does that. No one else does that.
Yeah, because when Ray Lewis was retiring, they just let him talk for 30 minutes after every game.
Right.
So it seems like baseball is more, at times they jump in pools and get wild, but they still have character.
Yeah.
Now, is this a sign to tell Jeter, hey, you think Derek Jeter's getting a little jealous and think he might retire next year?
Probably.
I think Derek Jeter has too much pride to give it up because this year he played like 12 games the whole season. He's not going to retire. I think he's got 2 more years left in him.
Do you think he's actually going to retire, or is it when his body tells him he can no longer play baseball anymore?
Well, it's definitely going to be that when his body tells him. Well, I think his body's already telling him that it's.
Yeah, that's what I was
He's
thinking.
done.
It's just the mind doesn't agree with the
Yeah.
body right now.
But I
At
feel
the
like
moment.
the Yankees are going to retire number 2 the second, like they did with Rivera's 42.
Probably.
Now, did you guys hear about Manny Machado? That's just sad to hear. A young superstar like him and then with a knee injury.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't see that. That would make me sick.
And it's interesting. That's the amazing thing about sports, just the little things you do, just running to first base or with Kevin Ware in the basketball season, just a simple jump, how quickly your knee can break or...
Or what about Randall Marshall, who was tackling the other day, and the top of his fingertip? He had to get it cut off.
Yeah, he said when he took his glove off, like part of the top of his finger was off. So
Yeah, and
gone.
he's going to play again Sunday.
It's day to day.
He said that he doesn't need the tip of his middle finger to tackle, so he doesn't see why he shouldn't play.
He does have a good outlook on it, though, which is really good.
And I think this also shows kind of like how far along the medical professionalism, like how good the medical system is now in professional sports now, because 40 years ago, if Machado blows out his knee, he might be done for his life. Kevin Ware, he's back dunking basketballs on YouTube.
Yeah.
But back in 1985, Joe Theismann running a flea flicker gets his leg snapped by Lawrence Taylor, done for his career. He was at the end of his career there, but I think in today's medical field, he probably could have come back. But I think this goes to show how far. He's going to be back 6 to 8 weeks
Yeah, 6
running
weeks.
again. So I think this just goes to show how great the medical system has come since in the past.
yeah, 'cause the advances of technology have helped out a lot with all of that.
Absolutely. Well, sorry, go ahead.
I think one last thing I want to get in, like, what do you guys think of the Caps hosting the Winter Classic?
I think it's awesome.
It's cool.
Thanks.
So I'm looking forward to Devils Rangers at Yankee Stadium. So you guys look forward to Caps Winter Classic. Well, I think
That'll be
that's
nice.
about it for this week. I'll just be back same time next week.
I'm Amanda Newman.
Will Ovington,
Amir Carter.
And Travis Nardella.
thanks
Have a
for
good night.
watching.
Yep.